Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, and welcome back to another segment of Talking About Success. My next guest is Dondi Dahlin, and she grew up in a unique world combining show business and energy healing. Interesting life. We'll talk about that. She's the author of this new book, The 5 Elements. It's got a wonderful subtitle called Understand Yourself and Enhance Your Relationships with the Wisdom of the World's Oldest Personality Type System, which we're also going to delve deeply into. Member of the Screen Actors Guild, and spent 20 years in performing around the world, all around the world. That's exciting. I'm a member of the Screen Actors Guild, but it's only been in one small little movie. But I love it. I get to vote on all that.
Yes.
So anyway, 5 elements.
Yes.
Very intriguing. How did you come to know this? Where is this from? I never heard of it before.
The 5 elements are amazing. So it's this very simple model from China. Mm-hmm. It was first recorded 2,000 years ago, but most people understand that it's probably as old as 5,000 years. In the 1960s, with the Cultural Revolution in China, Mao Zedong came in and he banned the 5 elements. He was trying to get people to think the same, act the same, look the same, and so he removed it from the culture. And I think that's why today a lot of Americans, a lot of people in the West have never heard of it. However, it's used every day in Asia by many people. Just as you and I would wake up and brush our teeth, other people are waking up and consulting and considering the 5 elements to start their day, to live their day. And here in the West, we're rediscovering it.
That's fascinating. So, and my major in college was Chinese history, if you can believe that.
Yes.
But and it makes sense that Mao Zedong wanted everyone to be similar. So if people are different types, then let's wipe that out.
Exactly, because the 5 elements is honoring the individual. That's what it's about. It's honoring each person's own rhythm, and so then we can understand each other better.
Cool. So how can people learn about this, and is it difficult? I mean, do you need a lot of training? I mean, 5 elements, it sounds like it's a lot to learn.
It isn't. It's such a great, simple, but very profound model. So, of course, there are people who study the 5 elements for their whole life, and they use it in health and wellness and their lifestyles. But if you start delving into the 5 elements a little bit, you get it right away. You can start understanding, oh, that's why she said that. Oh, that's why he did that. He's an earth. I'm a water. It's a way to almost predict other people's behaviors. Mm-hmm. And in that, with that knowing of how people are going to act or react or do certain things, there's a lot more peace because you can start to understand, okay, they're coming from their element. It's not that, oh, he said that because he doesn't like me. You don't take things as personal. It's a very liberating model.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what are the 5 elements, obviously? And, we don't have 2 hours, but
right.
Give us an overview of the 5 elements.
Sure. I'll touch on them briefly. So the 5 elements are water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. So in brief, your water type is going to be a very deep thinker, very profound thoughts, lots of ideas. The archetype is the musician, the philosopher, very deep thoughts. The challenge for the water element is they have great ideas, but they don't always have follow through. Mm-hmm. So that's tip of the iceberg for water. Wood element, they're your director. They're very clear about where they stand. They're very, the archetype is the director or the warrior or the pioneer. Wood element people are usually very successful in life, have no trouble getting ahead because they know exactly where they're going. Their challenge is that they can often stumble over other people getting there and kind of leave people in the dust.
Roadkill.
Yes. So your fire element, oh my gosh, this is the element that everyone wants to be around. This is the person at the party who's mingling with everybody and everybody's friend. They're high energy, very dynamic. Their challenge is that they can't seem to stay focused, so they get very scattered. The earth element. The earth element is beautiful, beautiful person. The caretaker, the mommy, very, very nurturing, always wanting to make sure there's peace. However, the challenge with the earth element is that in listening to everybody else and making sure there's peace, they often lose their own truth. So that gets buried. And finally, the metal element. The metal element is the spiritual seeker. They're often seeking something beyond this life. So your archetype is the yogi, the guru. The metal element person is very self-contained. However, in being self-contained, their challenge is that they're seen as aloof and detached. So every element has strengths, challenges. That's like a little tiny part of what the 5 elements are.
So how does one determine what element you are?
Oh, great question. So you can take a personality assessment quiz, but and those are online and in my book, of course, the 5 elements. However, once you start to learn the 5 elements, and this can happen in a matter of minutes, you start seeing elements in people, the way people speak, the way they move, the way they gesture, the tone of their voice. It's as simple as listening to a wood element who usually has a deeper octave as compared to a water element who kind of drones on when they talk. A wood element is very choppy in the way they speak. Fire element is all over the place. Oh my God, Jack, I love you so much. I'm so happy to be here. That's your fire element, very up and down, lots of peaks and valleys. An earth element has almost a sing-songy voice. Hello, who is this? The mommy archetype. The metal element almost speaks in a whisper, and you have to kind of keep leaning in.
Eckhart Tolle.
Yes,
I had breakfast with Eckhart Tolle. I had to lean in like this the whole time just to hear him talk.
Eckhart Tolle has a lot of metal element. Yes. So, yes, simple ways to see what people's elements are.
Okay, so you've been with me for 2 days, and I've known
Yes.
you before that, and you've met my wife. What are
Yes.
we?
Oh, well, I love your wife. And I actually was thinking a lot about her yesterday because the way she was speaking to me, I thought, wow, she has a lot of water. So water people get very sensitive. And water people, they go so deep into their thoughts. They're very profound people, but they can kind of get stuck there unless somebody like you with some wood pulls them out. I think you also have water, but you also have some wood, and that keeps you going forward.
Yeah.
Woods are all about the forward motion. Where can I get to? And the eyes are governed by wood, so it's what they see.
Right, subtitle of my book, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be.
Exactly. That's a
Exactly.
very wood sentence.
Very good, very good. So you've had a really exciting life. I mean, I could probably interview 3 different interviews. I want to learn about your acting career and your travel around the world. But of all the things you've done, you could have written an autobiography. You could have written about a number of things. Your mother is into energy medicine. You chose to write about the 5 elements. Why?
Thank you. Such good question. And yes, I have a lot of books in me and I will write them all. The 5 elements have been absolutely life-changing for me. So I grew up in them. And as I was growing up in the 5 elements, I could see that they were helping me navigate through difficult situations. So take divorce, for instance. When my parents were divorcing in the 1980s, and lots of other kids I was going to school with were also going through divorce with their parents. And they were coming to school in tears. They were skipping classes. Some of them were turning to drugs. And I was, of course, sad. Yes, divorce is traumatic for anybody. But I was able to look at my parents' divorce in terms of the elements. Oh, my dad was a wood. My mom is an earth. In the best of circumstances, those 2 elements are going to have a hard time living their lives together in harmony unless they're really evolved and on each other's same type of plane, which my parents weren't. They were of a different generation. My dad was a conservative Republican. My mom is a tree-hugging Democrat. So that was difficult there. But with the elements, I could really see, oh, it's not my dad's fault. It's not my mom's fault. It's not mine and my sister's fault that this divorce is happening. We're all of different elements. Likewise, when I was working in film, which you brought up, it was fascinating to see elements So I worked with Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese, and I got to watch when we were on the film set these two waters. Now Martin Scorsese is a water fire, and Robert De Niro is a water wood, but they both had water, which again is that very deep, deep, profound thinking. These two people go very deep together. So to watch them on the set was incredible. Likewise, I remember performing for Omar Sharif in the 80s, and he was such a beautiful earth element. So all that caretaking, he was like a father figure to me and just wanted to take care of me, which also you don't find so often in men. You find a lot of earth with women. So the 5 elements have been profound for me, and as I've gone through life, I've thought, I've seen people in difficult situations with their kids, with their moms, with their dads, during holidays, with their family, getting in arguments. And I thought, oh, if only they had the 5 elements, it would help bring so much peace to their life. So that's why I chose to write about the 5 elements.
So understanding the other person, where they're coming from, not
Yes.
taking it personally.
Yes.
Does it also help you in terms of how to communicate to that person?
Absolutely, because you start to understand that every element sees things differently, perceives things differently, hears things differently. So I know, okay, my partner has a lot of water and I'm very wood. So I'm like, let's wake up, let's start our day, let's get ahead. And he's much slower rhythm, getting into his day. Instead of me thinking, oh, he's procrastinating, he's just lazy, that lazy butt. I think, no, it's his water. Let me honor that rhythm that he is, the water rhythm. Meanwhile, I'll go along with what I'm doing, and then once he's ready, I'll bring him in. Likewise, your question about communicating, I can use certain words, I can use certain sentences that I know he'll resonate with. I know he'll start to work with me instead of us clashing.
Okay, I'm a wood, you said. My wife's water, you're wood, your husband. What are some of those sentences? I want to know.
So when you speak to a water, you realize that waters tend to hear between the lines, and they often think personally. So
this is
I'm
true.
taking this personal. So you need to find a way to use words that aren't personal at all, and you can use a lot of disclaimers. That's what I do. So my love, I want you to hear this, and please know I'm not nagging you. This is not personal. I would be saying this to my own mom, but I really would love to keep the kitchen more clean. And it has nothing to do with you. So a lot of this type of couching and comforting and sandwiching, so a water doesn't take it personally. Woods, you can be, oh my gosh, you can be almost harsh with. You could be like, come on, let's go, we got to get this done. And they'll be, yes, sir, I'm on my way.
Yeah, no, I have a friend who I think's a wood, and she said, I don't even want positive feedback. Just tell me how to do it better.
Total wood.
Because it's all about wanting to get to where
Yes.
faster, you know?
Yes, and if you're going to give the fluffy stuff, then we're just wasting time.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, this is fascinating. I wish we had a whole hour here, but we don't, unfortunately. So if people want to get a hold of your book, they want to get a hold of
Yes.
you for speaking, consulting, whatever,
Yes.
where do they reach you?
Thank you. LearnThe5Elements.com. That's the best way. I have a lot of free resources on my website. You can come and take the personality assessment quiz and find out your element. LearnThe5Elements.com.
Well, I'm going to go there for sure, get a copy of this book. You're going to leave it with me, I know. Anyway, get a copy. This is fascinating. It's going to cause a lot of more joy and a lot of less stress in your life. Know who you are and who your partners are and who you're working with for your children, everybody,
Yeah,
I think.
everybody,
your
all
business
relationships.
partners, all that good stuff. I love it. The 5 elements. Dondi Dahlin, thank you so much for
Thank
joining me
you,
today.
Jack. Thank
All right,
you.
stay tuned. We'll be right back after this message.